What is good, everybody? It's Batman, and we're going to be doing a reaction video to one of Six's vids for Naruto. He's posted quite a bit, so I've been a little behind, and I didn't realize how many videos he's been posting lately, so we're going to try to catch up and check out those other videos that he's done as well. But there was two that were really appealing topic-wise, this one and his most recent with Sage Kabuto against every Akatsuki duo. So we're definitely going to catch up and check out all his videos. And as always, his videos aren't, any really that long. They're generally around like 15, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max. So it's never really that crazy, which is cool. But we're going to check it out. It's Jiraiya vs. Kakuzu. This isn't a fair fight, so I'm assuming he's going to be on the route of Jiraiya just slams Kakuzu, basically. But we're going to see, and obviously this would trigger any of the Kakuzu tards, or this would piss off any of the Noodles fans and things like that, or especially Noodles. I'm pretty sure he's probably already reacted to this and wasn't happy with it at all or something. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll check out those reaction streams that Noodles does and and debunk all his crap or something. I don't know. I know you guys have always enjoyed me like debunking Noodles or what's it called, reacting to his stuff and whatnot. So, but let's get it. Hope you guys enjoy and let's do it.
Versus Kakuzu, the 90-year-old Jinchuriki hunter and a notorious mercenary. Does Pervy Sage really have what it takes to win? I'm just going to spoil this now. The clear answer is yes. I often get a lot of questions from you guys about how Jiraiya and the other Sanins compare to some of the weaker Akatsuki members like Kakuzu. So in this video, I'll be going over why Jiraiya, even in base, would destroy Kakuzu. If you've been in the fandom for a while, then you should know it's become fairly common to see people exaggerate how strong characters like Kakuzu are, and on the flip side, there are people who completely exaggerate how weak Kakuzu is, and it's completely ridiculous. For this, I'll be primarily sticking to the manga and data books, but I'll make sure to include some stuff from other materials where it's relevant. I'd also like to ask you to leave a like on the video and subscribe just to help the channel out. With that being said, let's get started by going over just how strong Kakuzu and Jiraiya both are and compare how they and their arsenals would do in a fight. So like I said before, you'll often see a lot of people exaggerate Kakuzu's minimal showings to exaggerate how strong he was. So the best place to start here would be by debunking this sadly common misconception that Kakuzu, despite losing to Naruto with a small QB amp before he even trained to learn Sage Mode, is secretly way faster than Minato and KCM1 Naruto and the strongest man in the Akatsuki, and that Kishimoto, instead of, telling us as much or keeping him around in the long term to show us this, decided to convey this instead through one or two vague showings. No, but really though, it's really incredibly dishonest, but you'll see a lot of people try to say that because Kakuzu reacted to Yugito's paw before he got trampled during their fight, that this somehow leads to the conclusion he's faster than KCM1 Naruto, who was getting pressed by Obito's enhanced Edo Jinchuriki during the war arc. For one, while Kakuzu...
I wear a few different hats.
Fuck you.
Kakuzu did manage to react to the slowest form of Yugito. This in no way proves he'd be able to do the same to base or V2 Yugito when she was alive. On top of this, unlike regular Edo Tensei Shinobi, the Edo Jinchuriki are said to have become much faster and stronger than they were when they were alive, due to Obito outfitting all of them with Sharingan and Rinnegan vision, while also controlling their moves. This shouldn't come as a surprise either, but since the Sharingan by itself has been said to provide an overall boost to the user's combat ability due to its kinetic vision many times over, you'll sometimes hear people say it only provides a boost to the user's perception and reaction speed due to the way the kinetic vision is described. However, we're told by sources like the manga and the first data book that Sharingan users still move and attack faster with kinetic vision than without it. So as you can see, there are many reasons why the Kakuzu wank just doesn't work. And as I said before, it should be obvious how dishonest it is to say Kakuzu was some secret Obito slayer that just got defeated by 4 Jonin level ninja through teamwork and trickery. Like, we didn't see Konoha team up and fail to cheese Pain in the very next arc. With that all out of the way, we begin to talk about how strong Kakuzu really is. So
far everything he's saying is he's basically just spitting facts. Like the Edos, as all the Jinchuriki as Edos, they're being controlled by Obito. They have the Sharingan and the Rinnegan. They have all those, basically those, those hacks abilities, as, when it comes to, like, increased perception, reading the opponent's movements, linked vision. Like everything is completely enhanced in a way to where basically their body is going to be like on a whole other fucking level compared to them not having the Sharingan and the Rinnegan and things like that. And then most importantly, it's Obito controlling their movements as well. He's using his own chakra and embedding his chakra into the receivers to control their bodies and their movements, meaning theoretically and arguably that he's also basically boosting their power and as well, etc. Because we do know with chakra, you can enhance, you know, the people that you control with the rods, whether if it's their jutsus or the movement, etc., etc. Nagato did it with his passive pains. Obito could obviously do the same. So everything he said for the most part is basically 100% correct. And it's completely different from base Yugoto to all the way to Edo Yugoto with all those different conditions, etc. And a lot of people forget that. It's insane. But yeah, this whole Kakasu upscaling or hype or he's KCM 1 in speed or all this crazy bullshit, you name it, yada yada yada. It's all just blatantly rat sophist bullshit, and people unfortunately are dishonest, try to deceive the Naruto community, try to create this type of deception that is not even there at all, and it's blatantly contradicted and blatantly emphasized where these two individuals scale at. And then not only that, they got bullied by the Two Tails. Kakasu was able to react. That's simple. Nothing wrong with claiming that. But right when he reacts, he gets slammed into the ground, under the ground, and he's dealt with immediately. You know what I mean? He's out of the picture. And Hidon's basically getting fucked up and shit. Where he has to dodge the fireball it does. Then he has to hide behind a wall, and he's literally hiding from the Two Tails. You know, so Hidon and Kakasu do not scale to the Two Tails. It's blatantly bullshit. There's so much you could even go off, but he has to go over that information because unfortunately the Naruto community, and along with certain areas within the Naruto community, they like to go this direction and, you know, be dishonest, etc. And that's why he's basically giving his thoughts and whatnot. So it is what it is.
Jokes aside, Kakazu, like the other Akatsuki members, was a pretty prominent and imposing villain when he was first introduced to the series. And while things like having fought Hashirama once and being able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature aren't a big deal now, those accolades were almost unheard of when we were first introduced to Kakazu. It should also be noted that it is true all of his opponents needed to team up and work together in order to defeat him. However, his feasible showings against people like Kakashi also often get exaggerated quite a bit. For one, a lot of people seem to think Kakazu was clearly superior to the Kakashi he fought in nearly every way. However, outside of combat skill, this just simply isn't true. You'll often see people use Kakazu's kick on Kakashi while he was in the middle of attacking Hidon to say he was fast enough to speed blitz him. However, Kakashi was clearly just caught by surprise here, and it's important to note that while the lightning blade does greatly increase Kakashi's movement speed, that is due to him accelerating and building up speed as he travels, and he had only moved like 2 steps when Kakazu intercepted him. It's also important to note that Kakashi also landed a much more successful sneak attack on Kakashi.
One thing I'll say for that, just to be generous, Kakazu does get in front of Kakashi, and Kakashi has a 3 Tomo Sharingan, so basically if Kakazu got in front of him and then goes to do a sidekick, a taijutsu sidekick to him, he could still see it coming and you name it, and has like the perception with the Sharingan blah blah. So the fact that Kakazu was still able to move at a certain speed, get in front of him, and land the kick successfully is really impressive. Because we even saw like Tendo Pain try to do that, and Kakashi just ducks it completely and proceeds it. It just clearly shows the whole perception ability with the Sharingan, you know. And then he does like the mud wall. Pain sees it and he's like, what the fuck? He's like, get the fuck out of here, bitch. And then he like speed blitzes and stabs him with the rod. And that's when Kakashi does his Raikiri and tries to hit him with it, and he misses. So basically, like, it is technically still impressive. You know, it is what it is. You know, I don't see the problem of Kakashi being able to kind of land a hit or be able to, you know, intercept Kakashi in front of him. He just clearly had enough speed. I wouldn't say it's an off-guard moment because he's literally in front of him. And Kakashi technically should have been able to react. So I'll give that to any people that try to advocate or defend Kakashi. I don't know about that one, what Six is saying. But what I do agree with what Six was saying, this makes sense to where he wasn't at full speed technically, because like Six says, in order to get the max amount of speed with Chidori, you have to really run, and then you finally gather and you get momentum, to where he literally just took like 2 or 1 step and then he gets hit. So Six is correct on that. He's definitely not moving at max speed, because let's be real, like when he moved at max speed, literally you could see in the right corner of the screen that he was able to speed blitz Kakuzu and he couldn't even react. He couldn't even detect him, actually. You know what I mean? Like, his stealth skills were just above and everything, and he just got freaking speed blitzed. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's basically what it is. But, it is. That's all you can really say. So
using his lightning blade literally right before this, taking out one of his hearts in the process. It's also not very consistent to say Kakuzu is superior to Kakashi, even if you ignore the anime where they swapped hands, in light of Kakashi's performance as the fight continued. Even after spending a lot of chakra using multiple lightning blades, Kakashi was able to counter Kakuzu's ninjutsu on multiple occasions, like when he negated his lightning style False Darkness with 2 lightning blades, or when he blocked his wind enhanced fire style using just his water style. Kakashi was also the first opponent to survive Hidan and Kakuzu's combo onslaught, and while he struggled to do so, this should still make it questionable if Kakuzu could even defeat Kakashi by himself. Kakashi's raw power with his lightning blades was also impressive here, with him dealing the final death blow to Kakuzu after already destroying one of his hearts earlier in the fight. Kakashi being this strong in terms of raw power is also fairly consistent, seeing as he was implied to be around the same level as Naruto, who defeated Kakuzu in this area. Clashing Rasengans with him before this, being uncertain who was stronger between himself and Naruto after watching him defeat Kakuzu, all of
such confidence to win, blah, blah, blah. I guess it's time to pass the torch. He has surpassed me, blah, blah. Can you sense it? Yeah, he's basically referring to, like, him surpassing him when it comes to, like, ninjutsu, like, comparing Raisen Shuriken to, obviously, like, Raikuri. That, yeah, but then he further confirms that, like, oh, you're strong, Naruto, and you may even surpass me. So he hasn't surpassed Kakashi yet. That's not true, But I get what he was saying for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, he was conflicted with it at first. Either he was conflicted, or his interpretation of what he meant by him surpassing him at that current point in time was comparing Naruto's Raisen Shuriken to his Raikuri, basically. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, Kamui is way fucking broken than fucking a Raisen Shuriken, especially that particular Naruto. So it's just, that's just not the case, period. But
it alludes to the fact that Kakashi is probably around Naruto's level. Kakashi also muses after the fight that he could have defeated Kakuzu with Kamui if he needed to, and that he wasn't even forced to use it. So the main point here is, while Kakuzu displayed a lot of skill,
how can you tell?
I don't care.
In his battles with Naruto, Kakashi, and Team Asuma, he ultimately wasn't much more powerful than Kakashi and Naruto at that point. With that out of the way, let's talk about Kakuzu's abilities and how they could help him in this fight. While Kakuzu's raw strength may not be that impressive, his ability to use all 5 chakra natures simultaneously on top of his quote-unquote immortality could be pretty irritating for Jiraiya in this fight. Like I said earlier, Kakuzu was the first character we ever saw with the ability to use all 5 chakra natures. However, he does so through his
such a weird character. Look at that shit, like in his back, like ugh.
Which lets him steal and manipulate the hearts of his enemies. Once they're incorporated into his yarn and given a mask, they can fight independently of Kakuzu and assist him in battle. However, since these techniques weren't even strong enough to overwhelm Kakashi, they won't be any more successful here. Kakuzu can also use
like Kakashi was able to deal with all of it. He was able to deal with wind style, deal with fire style, deal with the water style, deal with, like lightning style. Like, Jiraiya is a legendary Sonic. He will be able to deal with that as well. He also knows natures. I don't think Jiraiya knows all 5 natures, but he does know a certain amount of natures. I would have to look it up. I just don't remember. But overall, like, Jiraiya's gonna be fine. He's gonna be able to dodge. You know what I mean? He can summon Ganbunta. He has all his hacks abilities. He has dimensional abilities. He can summon Ma and Pa at any moment he wants, even though it takes some time, but he can summon them and get into Sage Mode instantaneously. There's so much he can do. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be perfectly fine. If Kakashi can do it, Jiraiya could definitely do it, probably even better. You know, so.
And fight in weird ways and has other strong techniques like Diamond Morph, which drastically increases his durability. However, since both of these abilities fell victim to Kakashi's Lightning Blade, they really wouldn't do any better against the Rasengan from Jiraiya. Not saying that Jiraiya's Rasengan should just be able to eat through Diamond Morph no matter what, but since the databook says that Kakuzu can't move the hardened body part, he could put it all over his body, sure, but in the end, he'd have to take it off in order to attack Jiraiya at some point. So with Kakuzu's strength and comparatively minuscule arsenal out the way, we can talk about how strong Jiraiya is and how his abilities would work here by comparison. While there aren't too many ways to directly compare Kakuzu to people like the Sannin, Kakashi and Naruto both serve as good measuring sticks for us to see how Kakuzu would stack up to Jiraiya.
And by the way, Jiraiya would be able to beat Hidan and Kakuzu at the same time. I'm putting that out there too. So.
Well, Kakashi did train and develop his skills as a ninja during the time skip. If you've seen my other videos, then you should know that I don't believe he grew much faster or stronger than before until after the later parts of Shippuden. This is mainly due to his lack of showings that would suggest a big increase, on top of the fact that his databook stats for speed and strength remain unchanged between the second and third databooks, which would suggest he hadn't grown much, if at all, in those specific areas. While databook stats can be iffy when applied in general, they have been used to show increases in progress in the context of individual characters. On top of this, he was also still comparable to Kabuto and Guy at the beginning of Shippuden, so the meta didn't really change over the time skip. This brings us to Jiraiya, who was considered to be a better Hokage candidate than Kakashi before and after the time skip, and this would make Jiraiya stronger than him since we've been told numerous times that the position of Hokage is only given to the strongest ninja in the village. On top of this, Jiraiya also believes his techniques like the Rasengan are more powerful than Kakashi's techniques like the Lightning Blade and the Chidori. It's also pretty consistent for Kakashi to be weaker than the Sannin at this point, since we literally saw he stood no chance against Orochimaru, who was said many times to be a strong...
And by the way, guys, Rasengan would go through Diamond Morph Armor as well. Like, even if you don't think so, like what Six said, he could just do an outlasting match and beat him. You know, because in order for Kakuzu to even do anything, he has to, you know what I mean, like, release the Diamond Morph Armor. It's Earth style. But, like, Jiraiya can literally fucking, even if, like, that wasn't the case, it would beat it. If Rasengan's stronger than Raikuri, if Raikuri can go right through, Rasengan would also break it and go right through and fuck him up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being real with you.
...more than Kakuzu and a rival for base Jiraiya and Tsunade. So even in base, Jiraiya should be clearly superior to Kakashi, who was pressing Kakuzu, and he should be more than capable of taking down his hearts with his Rasengan, just like how Kakashi did with his Lightning Blade if it comes down to it. It's also fairly easy to use Naruto's performance against Kakuzu to say Jiraiya could also defeat him, since it would be fairly obvious that, like Kakashi, Naruto was just not on Jiraiya's level by this point, seeing as that was one of the big reasons he wanted to learn Sage Mode, that was to surpass Jiraiya. The canonicity here is questionable, however, in the story mode of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, Naruto was unable to do a thing to base Jiraiya even after completing the Rasen Shuriken and defeating Kakuzu, which would be a pretty cut and dry way to say base Jiraiya would handle Kakuzu. However, like I said, the canonicity when it comes to these games and the manga is questionable, since they specified the anime in the infamous interview where CyberConnect 2 said the story made for Generations was quote-unquote canon, so take that as you will. So now that we've established that even in base, Jiraiya would be too much for Kakuzu to handle, let's talk about his huge...
Okay, so he basically does prove that the game would be canon, which is fine. Certain games would be considered canon. There's tons of evidence of Kishimoto involved in the work, supervising it, etc., etc. I'm not going to explain it, but I have all that information on my Discord as well. And there you go, like, yeah, I mean, there you go, guys, you know, so.
If he could use to deal with Kakuzu here. Like Kakuzu, Jiraiya also displays a lot of mastery with elemental ninjutsu, on top of other techniques like the summoning jutsu, and even more powerful techniques he learned from the toads of Mount Miyoboku, like Sage Mode, of course, which he can use to quickly and easily overwhelm Kakuzu in a fight. While Jiraiya can't use all 5 elements like Kakuzu, with the 4th data book stating he's only capable of using fire, earth, wind, and water style, Jiraiya does have more than enough to work with to deal with Kakuzu's techniques. For one, Jiraiya is very...
Okay, so Jiraiya can at least do 4 fucking chakra natures, though. Not 5. Damn, I thought it was only like 2.
Many powerful techniques he can use to blow Kakuzu and his wind, earth, lightning, and even fire hearts away, since he's stronger than Kakashi, who had no trouble keeping up with Kakuzu's ninjutsu. This includes techniques like his flame bombs, which he often enhances using toad oil, which he can also use separately to slow down his targets or immobilize them before he blasts them with his fire style. While cornering all of Kakuzu's hearts individually could be tedious and time consuming normally, Jiraiya can easily overwhelm and balance out the numbers with the many toads he can summon from Mount Myoboku like Gamaken, Gamahiro, or Gamabunta, which he can perform even larger scale collaborative techniques with, like their toad oil flame bullet, which,
and water style. And water style. So
you look at the size, I don't know how Kakuzu would even survive one of these. On top of his fire style, Jiraiya also has many powerful earth style techniques he can use, like his dark swamp, which he can use to immobilize Kakuzu, or his hearts and turn them into like sitting ducks.
Like, look how fucking huge that shit is. That's like a tail beast fucking attack. You know what I mean? Like, that man will get slammed by the frogs, bro. Like, it's not even funny at all. You know what I mean? Like, Kakuzu does his water style or whatever, bam, does that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, anything he does, he slams him.
Jiraiya can also use the Rasengan, one of the most powerful techniques ever created according to the 4th data book. And since, like I said before, we're told this is much more powerful than Kakashi's lightning blade, he wouldn't have any problems using it to put down Kakuzu, even if he tries hiding behind his diamond armor for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Now, this is also some gray area, but if you've been around the fandom long enough to play the video games, then you probably know Jiraiya has an infamous fire style or Great Flame Rasengan that has not been referenced a single time within the manga or anime. However, we do get a picture of it on Jiraiya's page in the guide we got for the manga's 10-year anniversary. So this is something he could arguably actually use in a fight. And if Naruto's Rasen Shuriken is any clue, this would be way beyond even Jiraiya's regular Rasengan, so Kakuzu wouldn't stand a chance against
I didn't know that. I knew it was in the game, but I didn't know that was also in that, the manga thing, whatever the fuck he just said that was called. Because there's a Kakashi one that's also out there, and that's translated, and it basically says Kakashi gets stronger every day, blah, blah, etc. So that's interesting. I did not know that. That's actually really fucking cool. Like, the fuck? Like, I did not know that. I'm actually gonna take a picture of it myself. I'll screenshot on my own time. I didn't know that. I'll put that in on the Discord, but I was not aware of that at all. So let me just hear that one more time though.
The picture of it on Jiraiya's page in the guide we got for the manga's 10-year anniversary.
So manga's 10-year anniversary. Okay, all right. That's crazy. Wow.
He could arguably
have
in a fight. And if Naruto's Rasen Shuriken is any clue, this would be way beyond even Jiraiya's regular Rasengan. So Kakuzu wouldn't stand a chance against it if you think making a flaming Rasengan is something he can actually do. Jiraiya also boasts a lot of other versatile techniques like his Lion's Mane, Sealing Jutsu, Transformation Jutsu, and other powerful techniques. However, since there are so many, it would just be overkill to go over all of them here. But one that would make this fight an utter stomp in Jiraiya's favor is his ability to summon Ma and Pa and use Sage Mode. While Jiraiya doesn't have a quote-unquote perfect Sage Mode that he can use by himself like Naruto and Minato, he can enter Sage Mode with the help of Ma and Pa, the two great Toad Sages he summons and has sit on top of his shoulders. Like other sages, Jiraiya becomes much faster and stronger in this form according to Pa and the data books, by taking in nature energy in order to mold Sage Chakra, which in turn also makes his techniques much stronger than before. While his fire style and base was already powerful enough to blow away Kakuzu in any of his techniques, it just becomes overkill in Sage Mode, with the data book noting that his flame bombs grew 10 times bigger. His Rasengan also becomes much more powerful with him being able to use the Massive Rasengan, which the third data book says he can use to easily carve away mountains. His basic abilities like his Taijutsu and Lion's Mane technique also become a lot more dangerous with attacks like the Kabari Senbon, which simultaneously boast the highest speed and range out of all of Jiraiya's techniques. Meaning there is absolutely no way Kakuzu or any of his hearts would be able to dodge. Ma and Pa also work great at supporting Jiraiya, with them being
and their attacks are also like speed blitzing shit. Like they were able to speed blitz all the summonings, like fucking like Ma and Pa are no fucking joke, you know. So
on many powerful collaborative techniques with him, like the Bath of Boiling Oil, which can reach temperatures of several thousand degrees, or the Toad Song, a powerful genjutsu which is even capable of stopping pain for a little while. Ma and Pa also have techniques of their own which they can use, like Ma's tongue, which she can use to track and immobilize targets before Pa blast right through them with high pressure water style. So basically, I mean, you get the picture. Like I said, when Jiraiya enters Sage Mode, this fight becomes even more of a complete stomp. I only mentioned it to make this video a bit more informative for everyone. So like I said from the start, despite what some people may say, I think this is an easy Jiraiya W. He's just, put simply, on another level compared to people like Kakashi and Rasen Shuriken Naruto, who showed time and time again they had what it took to compete with and defeat Kakuzu. On top of the fact, he has more than enough in his arsenal to deal with him, whether it's fire style or Rasengans. And once you add Sage Mode into it, and all the crazy abilities he used against Pain like Toad Song on top of this, it just becomes unfair and impossible to say Kakuzu would do anything here.
All right, W video. I gotta like the video. That was a W at the end of the day, and he basically said it as you know, the best way as you can. Like this was a fucking goated ass video, probably one of the best videos I've seen to this point with 6, to be honest. So hands down a 10 out of 10 video, A+. Did a great job analyzing Jiraiya briefly, made it pretty short and concise and simple. Shit, you know what I mean? Something I even struggle to do with my fucking videos, which eventually I will start doing, you know, for certain topics that can just be that very short and simple, concise. But yeah, no, he did a great job. He did a fucking great job. Like that was really, really good. And I expected this reaction to be a little bit more longer, but that'll basically be it for the video as well, guys. So if you enjoyed the reaction, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. Who do you think wins, Jiraiya or Kakuzu? I feel like the answer should be very straightforward. Subscribe for more content. Subscribe to get on the channel. And obviously, if you're a fan of Naruto content, there'll be plenty more reactions, plenty more of my own production videos, etc., etc. Anything type of Naruto vibes, you name it. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.